Hey, it's your coach, Laurie McNaughton, coming to you again with a video on how you can maximize the potential inside your company. This is going to be probably a little bit longer video. I'm going to cover quite a bit of material here today, so bear with me. This is going to pay dividends inside you for you and your company. This particular presentation I'm talking about is leverage. So do the work once and get paid forever is how we sort of describe leverage in the business world. If you're like, for instance, I'm just going to use it because I work with a lot of construction companies in the 20 years I've been doing this. If you're a tradesman and you go and do some work, get paid, get some more work, do some work, get paid, that's do the work once and get paid once. Maybe you hire somebody, maybe you hire a couple people, but you're still on the tools, you're still working inside the business. That's still doing the work once and getting paid once. Well, we want to build a business where you get paid even when you're not out, certainly not when you're out in the field, but even while you're on vacation or you're taking time away from your business for whatever reason, you're still making a nice, tidy income and profit inside your company. And I'll talk a lot about profit and stuff like that in other videos if you want to watch them. So, and do the work once and get paid forever is this idea is that if you have a business, a profitable business that runs without you needing to be there, you now have a valuable asset that some other group, because companies, venture capitalists, etc., are looking for companies that they can buy that have a predictable return on investment that runs without the business owner needing to be there. Because then they say, if I have to spend X number of dollars to buy this business, okay, I will get my return within 1, 2, 3, 4 years. And then after that, I'm making profit that's going directly into the coffer of the bigger parent company. So do the work once and get paid forever. If you look at it from the perspective of this, is you're the owner of the company. So your job is not to be on the tools. Your job is to build a team of people, is to create the systems and processes and buy the tools that they'll need so that they can take care of the customers. And then the customers pay the business and the cycle goes around and around like this. And so as you grow, you grow your systems and processes, you grow your team, you get them more tools, you build a bigger business, more revenue, all with the eye of being more profitable, which is part of the reason why we want to create leverage in our business, because that helps us create more profit. And I always say revenue is vanity and profit is sanity. So don't think about, I want to be $1 million business, or I want to be a 5 million, or I want to be a 20, or I want to be whatever $1 million business that you desire. I'm not suggesting that that's not a good goal, but you've got to keep your eye on the profit inside the company. Because what's the point of going from 1 million to 5 million if you're only making the same amount of money that you did when you were at 1 million, right? Okay, so let's keep moving. The other thing I want to talk about is something that we in the business world, or in my world of business coaching, is that to stay above the line, because below the line is blame, excuses, and denial. Blaming your team, blaming the weather, blaming the economy, blaming whoever, blaming your customers. You might laugh at that, but I've worked with a company that they complained about their customers all the time. I'm going to tell you that that will come back to bite you. When business is booming, you can be a crappy business and still make money. What makes a great company is when it's not booming and they're still making money. So don't make excuses and don't deny. Denial is like, oh, everything's hunky-dory, everything's good, no worries. When in actual fact, it's going to hell in a handcart, as my dad used to say. So above the line is taking ownership, holding yourself accountable and responsible for the results. Ultimately, the success or failure of your business will be you're the last person. You're the person that is ultimately the person that's responsible for the success or failure. Nobody else. It's your job to, and we're going to talk about some of this stuff, but like people say, well, yeah, but I got a crappy team. Well, who hired them? Right? Or I got a bunch of lousy customers who negotiate well, go get different customers. Sorry, I don't mean to be so blunt, but the fact of the matter is that we create our businesses. The outside world doesn't create them. If there's a market for it and there's value to it, then it's up to us to succeed at it. So let's keep moving along. I want to, as I go through this presentation or I go through this talk with you guys, you're going to have what I call BFOs, which are blinding flashes of the obvious. If information was the key to success, which it is one of the keys to success, knowledge is one of the keys to success, but if that was the only key to success, then we'd have nothing but successful businesses. And in fact, business failure in this part of the world is 90% over 10 years. And part of the reason is not because of knowledge, because as you can see, I got several books back here, but I got 300 books on that shelf over there. Some of them are on personal development. Some of them are business. Most of them are business books, but a nice chunk of them are personal development, because I will always think about working hard on myself to make sure that I can be the best that I can be. So if it was just about knowledge, you'd all be really successful. And some of the stuff I'm going to talk about, you're going to go, well, that's just common sense. Well, we all know what common sense is, right? So success is way more about the action than it is about the knowledge, although knowledge is important. But a lot of action with no knowledge is a recipe for disaster, if that makes sense. So we want to begin with the end in mind. And I talked about doing the work once and getting paid forever. That's the idea behind building a profitable business that runs without me. Because when you do that, as I said, you have a business that is a valuable asset to somebody to purchase it. Companies that reach out and buy companies, they want to know that they're profitable because they know when they can get their money back. So the other thing is, one of the top conversations that I've had with business owners, and I've had thousands of conversations with business owners over the past 20 plus years, is there's one common theme, and that's freedom. They got into business for themselves. They started a business for themselves because they wanted to have freedom. Freedom to make their own choices, freedom to do what they wanted to do, the freedom not to be under the thumb of some other crazy business owner, which, quite factually or unfortunately, when you oftentimes people quit and go start their own business and they become the dysfunctional business owner. So it's really, really important to get knowledge and put it into action, because freedom allows you that choice to, if something comes up and it's about money, you can make the choice, not because you do or don't have the money. You have the money. It's just, do you or do you not want to do it? Take a trip, buy something. It's not about, do I have the money? Do I have the time? It's no, I have the time and the money. It's, do I really want to do that? That's what I call freedom. So, as I mentioned, we want to create leverage in our business, which is doing the work once, getting paid forever, but it's about ever more with ever less, or dividing to multiply. So how do I do more with less, or how do I do more with what I have? And there's lots of different ways that you can create leverage in your business. And I'm going to talk a little bit about those in a minute or two. But I want to just share with you an acronym. You can put it on your paper, write it down. It's called the acronym is SYSTEM, and what it stands for is saving yourself time, energy, and money. By putting systems and processes in place, you're going to save yourself time, energy, and money. You're going to have a more productive, more efficient company that's going to produce better profits. And as I said, it's all about profit. So we're going to leverage ourselves through creating systems in a business. There's 4 sort of areas that you can focus in on. Now, below each one of those areas, there's multiple different strategies and actions that you can take to do that. But I'm just going to stick at the top line for the sake of time. The first point that you can really work to help leverage is through people and education. First of all, hiring the right people would be number one. Now, I'm going to admonish anybody who hires their uncles, aunts, brothers, sisters, friends, cousins, son-in-law who is out of work. That's not a hiring system. I'm sorry. Here's the thing. The people you hire are going to either help you succeed or they're going to cause you to fail. So hiring system is a process that you need to have in your place to eliminate the duds and get the A players, as we like to call them in the business world. And then, of course, educating them, training them all the time, getting them the training that they need so that they can excel at their jobs. Now, I know some of you are saying right now that, oh yeah, but what if I spend all this money on training these people and then they quit and go to work for somebody else? And I say, well, what if you spend all that money, or you don't spend any money on training and they stay with you? As I said, people are going to be the reason you succeed, or they're going to be the reason why you fail. Then you think about systems and processes. Systems can be simple, something as simple as documenting it, or posters. I worked with a guy who made thick rubber mats for people at grocery stores and who stood at tills for long periods of time. And he had a high turnover of people because it was such a boring job. But so what we did is we created a poster at each station that each station along the system to build these mats, and with some verbiage around what needed to be done at each station. And then he hired people who had developmental disabilities. And I mean, it was a beautiful solution because people with developmental disabilities, they want to work too. And they can do the job. But this just made it simple for everybody. It made it simple for the business owner because he didn't have to always be hiring people. And he gave jobs to some people who really just wanted to have a job and wanted some purpose or meaning for their lives. So that was a system. There's lots of other systems that you can put into place that make your business more productive. The other is technology. For those of you who are my vintage, you'll remember the days when we had to take our paycheck at the 15th of the month and the end of the month and go to the bank and stand in line and deposit the money into the bank account with a teller and, take out some money out of the bank at that particular time for spending money. We don't have to do that anymore. That saved a whole bunch of time and money. Also, my dad owned a car dealership back in the 70s and 80s, and I remember when they bought a computer, and it was as big as a desk. And this thing was, I think it was $125,000 for this computer, and all it did was accounting and inventory. That's all it did. It didn't do any fancy stuff. We have more computing power in our telephones than that computer. But the point behind that is that was technology, and technology evolves. And even though sometimes it feels like technology sucks up our time, technology also creates a lot of leverage for ourselves. So how do we leverage ourselves through systems and technology? Testing and measuring. Why testing and measuring? Well, you need to understand what's working and not working. If you are doing stuff and you don't know what's working and what's not working, you're not measuring it. And I say measuring it because something that worked really well for you today might not work well for you next week or the week after that. And so you've got to understand, because in the end, why are we in business? To make a profit. We cannot survive without profit. We always need to be working on profit. You have equipment that needs to be replaced. You have A players who need to be paid well for the work that they do, because you don't want them leaving. And remember this, I'm going to add this in there, because people don't buy on price, they buy on value. And so if you've got great employees who offer the best services and do great work, that's another form of leverage when it goes back to the training part of things. So testing and measuring. And the other is delivery and distribution. How do we deliver our products faster, cleaner, and how do we distribute them in a way that we can hit a bigger market? Might be a way of demonstrating some leverage inside your business. So let's keep moving here. Pardon me. So building a successful business step by step starts with the first thing, and that's, what's my vision? What is the where do we want to go with this business? And don't 1 year, don't 5, don't do 3 year, do 5 year, do at least 5 years, maybe 10 years. Look at your if you're, say, 50 years old and you want to retire at 60 or 65, then it's a 10 or a 15 year vision for that company. Now, some companies build 100-year visions. Let's get off the ground here first. Let's get our business to a place where it's a profitable enterprise that can work without us before we start thinking about what's the bigger vision here. So let's start with let's get off the ground, as I said. So then the mission covers really how we're going to do that and why we're going to do it, what's important about it, what does it mean to the customers, what does it mean to the employees, what does it mean to the community as a whole, and then your culture statement or core values. I always say this business is your sandbox, so people have to come and play by your core values, not their own. And if you don't have a living set of core values inside your business, you're likely going to have everybody's core values just driving everybody crazy. Then you need to, you need to set goals, milestones. You need to have an organizational chart inside your company. If you don't have an organizational chart, you really don't understand how your business functions. It really needs to start with the owner of the company, then a manager, and then you break it out, whether it's sales and marketing, finance and administration, production, warehouse, whatever that is. You need to understand how your business looks from the perspective of an organizational chart. And don't think you're too small for this. Do this now while you're small, because not only will it help you right now, but it'll help you as your company grows. The next thing you need to do is have positional contracts. You need to have KPIs for each one of those roles, and you create some level of how-to manuals, and they can be videos. Now you can have your own private YouTube channel that only your employees can access, and they can learn how to do the things that they need to do in the business to make it function smoothly, productively, and efficiently by watching videos on YouTube. So you need to have all of that stuff in place. So as I said, create yourself a organizational chart, then build yourself a structure underneath it. So if you look at it, now you've got your all the structure in terms of the different roles and responsibilities in there. Then you're going to create a positional contract or a positional agreement for every employee, and it's got to cover. You got to have your vision and mission in there. You got to have your rules of the game or the core values. What are the duties of that role in there? How will it be measured? How will each of these people be rewarded? It's not just about getting paid to do a job. If they get paid and they go above and beyond that to help you build your business, you've got to find a way to reward them for that. Then who do they report to? They don't report to everybody. They report to one person. You can't have one person, having 5 people telling them what to do. That's just a recipe for chaos and disaster. Explain in the positional agreement how they get raises, what they need to do in order to get a raise, and then what happens, how will they be reprimanded, how are things reprimanded if people break the core values of the company. So set for each position KPIs. So why is that important? Every employee wants to know how they win or how they succeed. And it can't be, oh, the boss is happy, I must be doing something right. Oh, the boss is mad, I must be doing something wrong. So have some KPIs so they know, hey, I'm right on track. I'm hitting this out of the park. You got to have it set for each team. So if you have like your finance administration team, what are the KPIs for it as a whole? What are the KPIs for your sales and marketing? What are your KPIs for your production team? What are the KPIs for your warehouse team? And then each manager, they have to have KPIs as well, and the company needs to have KPIs as well. And I would suggest this as a rule of thumb, no more than 3 per position. The reason is because if you got 20 employees, you've got a more of an onerous situation when it comes to tracking your KPIs. Now, you don't have to track them. The manager from each team can track the KPIs of the team. You track the KPIs for the managers. This is how you create a business that is profitable and can run without you. So don't skip any of these steps. Look at things. You want to systemize as much as you can. Systemize every possible routine activity that goes in your business, and then humanize all the exceptions, because there's obviously situations where people need to be able to think their way through a process. So you need to hire the right people with the right attitudes, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So next, you want to create a manual for each and every position. Then you want to list every routine that goes on inside that business, because this is how you're going to create more leverage and create a level of more efficiency inside each of those positions. Classify how you're going to measure this stuff, where you're going to measure it daily, weekly, or if things need to get done daily, weekly, monthly, and work through and develop your whole positional agreement, doing that in your how-to manuals, doing that. And again, like I said before, you can do some of this how-to stuff in short little YouTube videos. I know this is a longer one, but I'm covering a lot of very important information here. So let's just talk about for a minute how you leverage your time. One of the first things you need to do is record what you do every single day. And you can have every employee do this as well, and track the results and see where it is that you spend most of your time. Now, if you're looking from the perspective of yourself as the business owner, you want to take the most menial, unfun tasks and systemize those first and delegate those to somebody else. But even so, when you start to build your company and you get a level of skilled workers in a place, you don't want them doing a bunch of menial tasks that you could actually hire somebody. Say you got 5 people at this level, they're all doing high value jobs, but they got all of this paperwork or something that they need to fill out, and it takes up 20% of their week doing this stuff. You can hire somebody to do that for them. So that's going to create more leverage for you, so you can do more with less. So to wrap this up, I'm going to quote my good friend. I've read his books. I've seen plenty of videos. I've never met the man. In fact, he's deceased now. So, but Jim Rohn, if you haven't, look him up on the internet. Never wish that life were easier. Wish that I were better. Never wish that your problems were smaller. Wish that you're bigger than your problems. And last, work harder on yourself than you do on your job. Work harder on yourself than you do on your job. If you're the owner of the company, what is it that you need to learn to be the best business owner that you can be? And business owner means how to look at it from the perspective of leadership. You need to lead the team. You can't just be a crack the whip kind of employer. You're not going to keep people around for long doing that. You've got to help your team grow, because if they grow, they'll be more loyal, they'll work harder, they'll be more productive. And secondly, from a personal development standpoint, you need to know yourself better than anybody else knows you. But then secondly, as a business owner, you need to know the effect that you have on the people around you. So pay attention to that. If you're, the kind of business owner that's, you have a meeting with your team and you get little or no participation, part of that is, all of it is because of you. It's not because of them. I do workshops for teams all the time, and one of the comments that I'd say always get is that I'm amazed that you got this person sharing and getting involved with this, because I just recently did a workshop for a wonderful client of mine, and they talked about a lot of people, but one person in particular who couldn't look people in the eye, and here she was sharing in this workshop in an open forum. So what kind of effect do you have on the people that work for you? Do you have one that wants them to step up to the plate, be more productive, be a loyal team member, help other team members? Or do you find that you just get, the minimum out of everybody? That's up to you. Stay above the line, take ownership, be accountable and responsible. Okay, I'm going to wrap this up because I went quite long, but I think some valuable information in here. I don't think, I know it's valuable information. If you want to find out what it would be like to work with me, just go to my website, lauriemcnaughton.com. Go to the first page, go to the discovery. There's a link in there for a 15-minute discovery meeting. We're just going to have a quick conversation. I've said this in every video. I feel like I don't need to repeat myself, but I do need to repeat myself. The discovery meeting is for me to understand, can I help you? And are you the kind of person that I can work with? And then from your perspective, can I help you? But am I the kind of person that you can work with? That's the purpose for that whole discovery meeting. And if we get to that point, we go, yeah, this is something I think we should take a deeper look at. We'll book a complimentary 1 hour complimentary coaching session where we'll dive in deeper on each of the challenges that you're facing in your business. We'll talk about the solutions. And if we're in agreement that this is what will help you and there'll be a healthy return on your investment, then we'll talk about the programs that I offer. And I've got several programs to make sure that I can have something that's affordable for most companies. And then we'll just get rolling on that. So we'll get you signed up, we'll get you set up, and we'll start making some changes in your business right away. So thank you for listening. Hit the subscribe button. Come back, watch more videos. Pass the videos on to your fellow business colleagues. I can tell you without question, after 20 some years, there is literally very few businesses that couldn't take advantage of a good business coach and what a good business coach brings to a company. So again, thanks for living. Go to lauriemcnaughton.com and book that discovery meeting. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Thanks again.